The classic of mountains and seas. Mountains Classic. The Northern Mountains. Part 1.
In ancient times, a place known as Jiaomingshan, in the vicinity of Mongolia's Zhao was the headwater of the Jiao waterway, which emptied into the Yellow River. It was the home of a freakish fish called the heluo. 10 fish bodies, all of which were attached to a single head with 3 sets of eyes, had voices that sounded like barking dogs. The flesh of the heluo was an effective cure for edema. Anyone who could not bear to eat the fish could raise them, for they served as a protection against floods. The cunfish of Beiming in the Warring States philosopher Zhuangzi's Xiaoyao Yu could transform itself into a giant rock. The heluo could also change itself into a bird. One called a zhujiu, which was notorious for pilfering people's husked rice. But the zhujiu was deathly afraid of thunder and lightning, which invariably drove it into hiding. Not so the heluo. While the heluo swam in the Jiaoming River, which flowed west from Jiaomingshan to the Yellow River, a large and intimidating but somewhat shy member of the porcupine family roamed the foothills of Jiaomingshan. The colorful quills of the menguai grew out of a patch of soft hairs on its cheeks and neck and were lethal. It made sounds like a creaky winch at times and a purring cat at others. It had the power to ward off evil forces in many forms and keep them at bay. After the animal itself disappeared from sight and was thought to have taken on other forms, imagined images of the original creature were drawn and hung in homes, with surprisingly good results at keeping evil from entering the premises. The Xiao River originated on Zhuoguangshan, 350 li north of Jiaomingshan, and was home to the Xixi, a slim hybrid creature with the head and body of a fish, 5 sets of winged fins, and a hooked avian beak. Its call was remarkably similar to that of a magpie. Despite its ability to fly, it represented the element of water, owing to the scaly surface of its body and the watery medium in which it spent most of its life. And since in the hierarchy of elements, water subdues fire, the Xixi signified fire repression. If caught and eaten, its flesh was thought to be a cure for jaundice. The Mammoth-Go mountain range, which stretched north to south some 400 li, was 380 li north of Zhuoguangshan. 200 li farther north stood Dangshan. One of the strange creatures that lived on this mountain was the Urshu, an oversized rat with the head and ears of a hare, the four-necked body of a mee deer, and the bark of a hound. The extraordinary tail served as a wing, allowing the Urshu to soar through the air, its flight stabilized by a pair of long, pliant ears. The animal's meat had a variety of applications, including the reduction of abdominal swelling, as an antidote for many types of venom, and as a tonic that eliminated nightmares. Modern medicine would classify its flesh as a rare multi-purpose therapeutic capable of curing disease, preventing epidemics, and boosting mental health. Biancanshan, a mountain 390 li north of Dangshan, was lushly covered with native vegetation and fruit, including wild onions and mountain peaches. It was also home to an entertaining, almost comical animal called Yuyan, adept at bounding from branch to branch high in the forest canopy. It had the skills and appearance of a monkey, though its fur was striped top and bottom and end to end. It called its own name from morning to night, and seemed always to be smiling or laughing. It loved to play tricks on humans, feigning death or sleep, but its audience was never fooled into letting it draw near. The most unusual mythical species inhabiting Danshangshan, a curious mountain 380 li from Biancanshan, was a truly bizarre ruminant called the Zhujian. It had a face whose features seemed misplaced or underdeveloped. with a single eye above embedded nostrils and a small mouth between bovine ears. Its body was that of a very large leopard, replete with spots, and an extraordinarily long tail it kept off the ground when it walked by holding it in its mouth. The reputedly prehensile tail lay coiled beside the creature's body when it rested. Sightings were rare, and some have speculated that it came out mainly at night. Nothing is known of its temperament or activities. The barren Daxian Shan, a square mountain rich in jade deposits, was where a reptile aptly named a chanksh, a long snake, made its home. Growing to the extraordinary length of 800 feet. It was at its most imposing when it rose up like a cobra and displayed the bristly filaments that grew out of its head and down the first few joints of its segmented body, lacking the forked tongue of earthly snakes. It did not announce its presence with a hiss but produced a muffled thud like the late-night sound of a struck wooden clapper. No evidence exists to substantiate rumors of an even longer relative. In a place called Yuzhang, one reaching 10,000 feet, potential predators stayed clear of its territory, marked by a sidewinding trail in the sand and dirt. A hideous appearance can instill fear in humans, something that is absolutely warranted in the case of the man-eating yoyu, which roamed the hollows of Shaoxian Shan, one mountain over from the larger Dunhong Shan. A massive bovine with a frightful face that is almost impossible to describe. Thick horns, horse hooves, and a ruddy hide. It lured its victims with the deceptive call of a whimpering infant. Thought originally to have been a deity with a human face and a reptilian body, it was murdered by Erfu, a hostile deity, and reborn as the man-eating yoyu. It then came down to earth to terrorize an entire mountain. Long ago, in the remote past, a peak called Beiyu Shan existed in what is now the Dorbod Bana region of Inner Mongolia. It was where the Zuwai River began its flow westward to the Qi River. Waters that were hospitable to a strange fish called the yi, with a fish body and the head of a dog. The yi was eagerly sought by fishermen, who followed its whimpering cry. Its flesh was used to treat infantile convulsions and mental illness. A snake with one head and two bodies inhabited Hunxi Shan, some 180 li down a mountain path from Beiyu Shan to the south. While its name sounds somewhat similar to Feiwei, the strange animal that lived on Taihua Shan, recorded in the Western Mountains section, the Fei snake could not be more different. It glided along the ground by interweaving its two bodies in a braiding motion that left a distinctive series of figure eights in its wake. It did, however, share something with the Taihua Shan Feiwei, in that it created droughts wherever it appeared. The connection could well not be coincidental, but no record that the two creatures are related exists.
Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all your support. If you like my content, don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share this video. Thanks you so much.